So what I want to teach you guys first, as far as the tomato sauce is concerned, is the easiest out of all the tomato sauces that you can make, and one of the best, and also one of the healthiest, because you're using the whole tomato, even the skin, and it's still good with the skin, is the cherry tomato method. Okay, so all you need to have is cherry tomatoes in the house all the time, which is easy to do. Okay, year round pretty much. Make sure you pick ripe ones. Okay, and you just cut them in half. And we bring up some extra virgin olive oil, we toast some garlic in it, we throw the cherry tomatoes right in, and they burst open right in the garlic and oil. And we crush them with a little crusher to get the pulp out of them, and that's it. Add some fresh basil, the sauce is finished. It's an amazing, amazing base also to add things to it. You can add capers to it, you can add fish to it. It's an amazing base also for many different things that you can add to it. Okay, so let's start off by cutting our tomatoes in half. So you see I have all these different cherry tomatoes because I'm always buying them. I like to just pop these things in my mouth. They're so healthy. They're so delicious. They're so sweet. You should always have them in the house. The best freaking snack ever. And it makes one of the best tomato sauces and the fastest that you'll ever make. You won't believe how easy it is and how delicious it is. And you don't even need that many tomatoes for each portion. You need like maybe 8 of these for each portion. I like to put extra because I like to eat the sauce. I mean, it's basically just stewed baby tomatoes. And when they're in season, you can use the sun golds. Sun golds are the best for this. So much complexity, great acid. One of my favorite ways to use sun golds. You know, they're a little expensive, but when you make the cherry tomato method with it, there's no going back. It's so good. I'll just leave a couple for snacking. They're so sweet. So, cherry tomato method. We are basically making a garlic and oil and throwing the tomatoes in there. So it's just very similar to the garlic and oil method, but we're using tomatoes. And there's a little bit of difference in the technique, which I'm going to show you right now. But we start with, again, garlic however you want to cut it. You can complicate the garlic. You can cut it all different sizes. You can make it so some of it's burnt, some of it's dark. I suggest some color on the garlic. It goes really nice with the tomato skin especially. So I'm going to go just oddball sizes so I get all different responses and all different flavors. I'm going to do some very fine. Okay. Oh, maybe a little more. You like to use spaghetti with this. Spaghetti is great, but you can use packery too. Packery comes out amazing as well. Peachy is one of my favorite things to use for this. Peachy is like a catata pasta made in Tuscany, famous in Tuscany. And I love it because it holds a real al dente, a real strong al dente, which is really nice with these tomatoes. But peachy does kind of break up a bit. You can see all those broken pieces? So they come in these little mounds like this. So I usually do like, 2 per person. I'm going to do it. Yeah, that'll be enough. We're going to fire it right away because we need the pasta water from the peachy. So we got to salt it. Very important. We're going to over salt the water for the peachy, and I'm not putting any salt at all in the cherry tomato. Why? Because tomatoes are fruit. Do you salt peaches? Do you salt pineapple? I mean, you can, for like fun, use like, coarse salt, but I mean, it's not something that you're looking to do because it's going to dumb down the sweetness, okay? Over salt the pasta, so while you're eating it, you get plenty of salt from the pasta, and then the sweetness from the cherry tomato method, from these cherry tomatoes. There's plenty of sugar in there. plenty of sugar and there's plenty of acid. You see, we're weaving salt here. We're using the spaghetti to weave salt into the cherry tomato sauce. Think about it like that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to preheat the pan. Just like with the garlic and oil method, we want to wait until the pan's nice and hot before we put the olive oil in, so we don't stress out the oil, we don't burn the oil, but when you put it in, the oil should smoke on contact, okay? It's only going to smoke for a few seconds until you throw the garlic in, okay? And then the garlic's going to cool the oil down, it's going to absorb all that heat, it's going to become nice and brown, okay? This thing almost overflowed. It's going to become nice and brown, and then you're going to throw the halved cherry tomatoes in, spreading them out evenly. And the cherry tomatoes are going to cool the whole pan down, and the frying is going to flavor the oil with tomatoes. The tomato skin has a lot of flavor and it goes right into the oil. And that combination is so nice. And then the tomatoes themselves are going to start to burst and give up their juice. And you're going to help them along with the help of one of these tools. You're just going to press them down. I think they call this a potato crusher if you search it online. I always find them in stores and I just pick them up. But boom, 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 boom. Okay, and then you're going to hit it with a little bit of the pasta water, just a little touch of the pasta water to kind of cool it down, and also to give it a little bit more liquid, and then let it sit and wait for the pasta to be ready, and then we're going to meld it all together. So, first step, get the pan nice and hot. Have your olive oil picked out already and close by. I'm going to use this one. Okay, have your garlic ready to go in. Okay, have your cherry tomatoes close by. Cherry tomatoes close by, always. Oh my God, I can't stop eating these. Right here, ready to go. You can feel the heat coming up. You can feel it. It should feel really hot. You should be like, wow, that's plenty hot. Because when you put that oil in, it's got to be hot enough to start frying the garlic right away. Well, you're not going to get that color on the edges that you're looking for. You see, it's very hot. Okay, that's all I need. Now I'm going to use this to break up these little pieces, make sure that they get some color on them, because that's why I cut them small. You see the unevenness? Just like with this. You could even use the sticky garlic method here. Plenty of color. Now I'm lowering the heat down a little bit. You want to keep it frying. It's got to be frying. If you don't hear it frying, okay, the pan wasn't hot enough. And you're going to boil the tomatoes instead of frying them in with the garlic. When you fry them with the garlic, you get more flavor. It's more intense. It's more beautiful. Ready with pasta water here. I got my crusher. I'm going to start slowly crushing. Now I'm on a high heat again here because the tomatoes really slowed it down. But you can see I'm just bursting them. And as they burst, all the natural pectin comes out of the fruit and creates the sauce. The seeds, everything. And you just keep crushing them right in until you have a tomato sauce. Boom, look, you see? And now I'm just going to throw a little bit of pasta water, just like that, just so I have enough liquid later to meld, and that's it, it's done. Finished. Optional, but I like it, okay, is as it's cooling, a little bit of dried oregano on top and just kind of let it melt in. And then we're going to finish it with tons of leaves of basil. Too much basil. Almost there. Salt is good. It's going to be perfect. Extra salty pasta, super sweet sauce, pure harmony. Pasta's ready, let's do it, man. So we have to strain this because we don't want to put too much water in there. So we're going to completely strain it out. put the sauce back on the fire on high heat. And meld, we meld, we meld, we meld. I left the pasta slightly wet. We're going to bring it up to a boil. Fresh basil. Tons of fresh basil. Too much fresh basil. Going to melt it right in. Meld, meld, meld. I love the leaves of fresh basil just steamed right while we're melding. Just till they get limp. Make sure you eat them. Make sure you fork them when you're twirling and swirling. Now we plate, making sure we give everybody plenty of tomatoes, plenty of basil. I usually pull the pasta out first and leave the sauce in the pan so I can put the sauce right on top. Here we go. Plenty of basil, plenty of tomato on top. The fastest, quickest, tastiest spaghetti pomodoro. And always, what do we always do? What do we always do? Look at all that sauce. Don't pour that down the drain. It's a sin. It's sickening. Make sure you always scrape out every little bit of sauce and consume it. Quick wipe on the plate. Now this is great as is. It doesn't need anything. It doesn't need any cheese. It doesn't need anything. Got some oregano in there. You got garlic. You got olive oil. You got fresh basil. It doesn't need anything else, okay? But it does need a little anointment just for some freshness on top, some fresh olive oil flavor on top, okay? And if you absolutely have to put cheese, put Pecorino Romano. Do not put Parmigiano Reggiano on this. It gets lost. It's too strong. The dish is too strong. The flavors are too strong. Parmigiano just gets messy and clumpy. Pecorino will stand out. Or, even better than Pecorino, breadcrumbs. Toasted breadcrumbs on top. Sicilian style. Amazing. One of the best ways you can have this is with breadcrumbs on top. I even have the breadcrumbs, but I'm not in the mood. You want some cheese on yours? So Griffin's going to have some cheese. And you'll be able to try both. And that's about how much I would put. Instead of the cheese, I'm going to do just a little bit of cracked black pepper, because that will work. Or even some crushed red pepper on this is perfect. That is the perfect thing to put on here, not even the black pepper. I forgot. Pepperoncino, crushed red pepper, is great for this. Even with the pecorino, it's good. Let's eat. So now at this point, let's say, you wanted more salt. Do it with coarse salt and crush it in your hand right on top. Or put the pecorino. Or make the breadcrumbs salty, which is the best solution to this, if you didn't have enough salt. Okay? Pasta's perfect al dente. Sauce is sweet like sugar. Nice background of acid. Healthy as hell. I'm just going to some fresh tomatoes. Come on. It's such a quick, simple meal. Keep tossing it and turning it as you twirl. Make sure you fork the tomatoes when you design the bite. This is a lot of tomatoes. I like it like this. You can put less. Up to you. I got it all over my face.